Well, I mean, what are you going to say, Alice? How many things in a row? I mean, the biggest news of the day keeps getting overwritten. The most recent piece of breaking news was that my wife actually says, "I'm so stoked," which is the thing that she says, apparently.
Well, only for things like Tucker coming back.
And then before that, of course, there was this.
Hold on. We're looking at something. Number one, did Donald Trump rape E. Jean Carroll? The answer is no. This is the verdict. Yes to number two, did Donald Trump sexually abuse Miss Carroll? The answer to that from the jury is yes. So no on rape, yes on sexually abuse. We got to.
That seemed like it would be good enough. Not good enough, but adequate enough material to talk about the show.
Yeah, you would think so.
And then
pretty big news.
And then I get home and I prepared for that, of course, and I have sound and a whole bunch of arsenal of stuff ready for that. And to talk about the entire that based mixed with the football player who was just exonerated of rape, whose life was ruined. So we had a theme going, and now that has been scrubbed because the big news today, and I don't. And it's fair to say, I think, that I love this guy.
And there was also news involving him earlier today prior to the Trump verdict, too, that could have been
but the
we could have done a show.
broke 19 minutes ago, and my guy, who I have wholeheartedly endorsed and thrown support to, Rep. George Santos.
Oh, wait, we're going with that. So sorry, I forgot.
Has been criminally charged in the Justice Department.
Yeah, the federal prosecutors have gone after George Santos.
What a bunch of horse bleep that is.
Yeah.
But
so I definitely have more to say on that and Trump and Tucker and all this stuff. But
okay, so what the hell happened? I came home and you said that Tucker
Carlson
got a case.
I was all like...
Yeah, you said because you sent me to go to karate. This is a point of I have been going all day from the morning on from the 5 o'clock hour on, and then you roll around at 7:46. I then just prep for my show.
That is not true because my alarm went off at 6 and you were still in bed next to me.
Make coffee, do all this stuff, get through the show prep, take the walk, talk to people I work with, get going, do the show, do post-production stuff. Today I took a half walk because during the walk I was getting stuff for the show tonight. Immediately go home, trimmed the hedges. Immediately to the car, to karate, and where you're involved in karate, and then back here, and then you say, you didn't hear the Tucker news? What's the Tucker news? Did you see my text on Tucker? See your text? When was I supposed to see your text? 0 time. So you're in trouble for that. That's one.
Well, that was also the first time I stopped today, really.
Okay.
And was checking the news, doing show prep, and what comes across my feed but the biggest Tucker news ever.
Doing show prep.
Which I also sent you the other Tucker video this morning, by the way, which you enjoyed.
I did. I forgot that one.
So this morning, prior to all this, there was another leak involving Tucker. Media Matters has a new clip of video of him in which he says that you shouldn't work at Fox News if you have pronouns in your bio, and complaining that these people are on another side from you, and that who was he talking about? Was it Judge Jeanine?
Who I'm talking to on WTIC Friday. Ask Alice, what's the right Tucker question to ask her?
Well, I think the stuff about the leak, about all her people working for her that are big liberals, right? She's not going to talk any Tucker, though.
I know, but listen, this is the art of the interview. We need to find a way to craft a question that is somewhere in between. It can't be Tuckerish. Obviously, she can't answer anything Tucker, but she can talk about young influences and staffs in media in big elite cities.
Okay.
So go ahead. Do you want me to get to the Tucker?
So then let's go to what happened then this evening. At what time did he tweet this? But this came straight out of his Twitter feed, right at, let's see, 4:42 p.m. So this is right after you left for karate. I sat down and saw this.
So this is Tucker, and it's called We're Back. Tucker is not a blue check like I am.
He's not paying Twitter any money, apparently.
Yeah, just the reverse, apparently. Here we go.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies. But most of the time, that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read the New York Times is in fact true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind. Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the...
Is that not a threat?
It's definitely a threat.
I could tell you stories.
We'll get more to that, but yes.
Or in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess. It's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
So how's that going to work?
So that's the big question. So now, as has been reported, he is still considered to be under contract from Fox, and all the sort of rumors are that Fox would very much like him to be quiet through the end of that contract.
Right.
So I think through the end of 2024 up until 2025, they want him not doing anything.
Right. Certainly through the past election as well. Mm-hmm. And they don't want him influenced. Yeah. Right.
So, but this also came out today. This is in Axios. Scoop. Tucker Carlson accuses Fox of fraud, contract breach. Tucker Carlson, 2 weeks after being ousted by Fox News, accused the network Tuesday of fraud and breach of contract and made a host of document demands that could precede legal action. The aggressive letter from his lawyers to Fox positions Carlson to argue that the non-compete provision in his contract is no longer valid, freeing him to launch his own competing show or media enterprise. On Tuesday, Carlson announced he'd be bringing his show to Twitter. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show, blah, blah, blah. We just heard that. The Twitter move would seem to technically violate Carlson's contract with Fox, but his lawyer's letter effectively holds that Fox breached the contract first. Mm-hmm. Sources tell Axios that Carlson's lawyers sent their letter before he took to Twitter to announce his new show. Axios reported Sunday that Carlson, frustrated by being held to his contract, is preparing to unleash allies to pressure the network into letting him work for or start a right-wing rival. Carlson's contract runs until January 2025, and Fox wants to keep paying him, which would prevent him from starting a competing show. Carlson has already gotten eye-popping offers from several right-wing outlets and has talked to Elon Musk about working together. The letter from Carlson lawyer Brian Friedman to Fox officials Viet Din and Irina Briganti, I don't know how to say her name, said that Fox employees, including Rupert Murdoch himself, broke promises to Carlson intentionally and with reckless disregard for the truth. The lawyers accused Fox executives, which two sources say are Din and Murdoch, of making material representations or promises to Carlson that were intentionally broken, constituting fraud. Notably, the letter alleges that Fox broke an agreement with Carlson not to leak his private communications to the media and not to use Carlson's private messages to take any adverse employment action against him. Multiple outlets have reported on Carlson's redacted communications from pretrial discovery documents and have suggested that they led to his ousting. The letter also alleges that Fox broke promises not to settle with Dominion voting systems in a way which would indicate wrongdoing on the part of Carlson and not to take any actions in a settlement that would harm Carlson's reputation. So obviously all this stuff that's leaked from the discovery of this trial is extremely central to this, because they're trying to paint him clearly as a racist, as a problem, as a sexist, all these things. Carlson was told by a member of the Fox board that he was taken off the air as a part of the Dominion settlement, two sources briefed on the conversation told Axios.
That's a mistake.
According to a source familiar with Carlson's position, his lawyers believe that the misrepresentations alleged by Carlson amount to a breach of contract because they created additional terms of Carlson's employment that were then broken by the company. These actions not only breach the covenant of good faith and fair dealing in the agreement, but give rise to claims for breach of contract and intentional and negligent misrepresentation, the letter says. A Fox News spokesperson says it is categorically false that Carlson lost his job as a part of the Dominion voting system settlement, and the Dominion lawyer said that Dominion did not insist on them firing Tucker Carlson as a part of the settlement. Carlson is also claiming that Briganti, Fox's longtime communications and PR chief, attempted to undermine, embarrass, and interfere with Carlson's future business prospects.
So this is the lady who everybody hates.
Yeah, I mean, the left and the right are both salivating to get a hold of all her private texts and everything. But listen to this. That she attempted to undermine, embarrass, and interfere with Carlson's future business prospects, which he maintains would constitute another breach of his employment contract. Make no mistake, we intend to subpoena Ms. Briganti's cell phone records and related documents, which evidence communications with her and all media, including but not limited to the New York Times, the letter said. Carlson's lawyers added that because Carlson is considering litigation against the network to resolve these disputes, Fox must take immediate steps to preserve all existing documents and data relevant to their relationship with Carlson, including correspondence between top executives and outside media outlets.
Right, and he's apparently got the baddest lawyer in the world. This is
Cuomo's lawyer, Lemon's lawyer. This is the big Hollywood contract lawyer guy. Yeah.
Yes, who put a torpedo into big organizations previously, who I guess prefers to leak to Axios, whereas Fox leaks to Media Matters.
Right, but I mean, also they're not under an obligation to keep their own letter to Fox secret, whereas
no, but they wanted to feel heat. I mean, this whole thing. This is just Team Tucker taking a
Fox
hostage.
Was
Fox.
under a legal obligation not to make Tucker look bad, essentially.
But
according to Tucker, right? So yeah, that is what they do. But it's interesting because this is going to be at the crux of whether or not he's allowed to do another show. Which, I mean, I get the sense from his Twitter message that his strategy is going to be to do a show on Twitter and then to worry about it, to let Fox try and stop him, essentially.
Well, right. I mean, he's allowed to tweet. He already has.
Right. And I think that obviously the tweets that he's made so far probably don't quite rise to the level of breaching that contract because he's not at this time doing like a news analysis show. But if Tucker Carlson tonight starts coming out on Twitter with like a monologue and interviews with guests, then I think that's when the lawyers will start to get worked up. But clearly they're taking steps. This is obviously a coordinated effort with him releasing this video and the news coming out about this contract stuff at the same time, to present this front that like, this is what we're doing. I'm going to be releasing this show on Twitter. Now, there was speculation about this. Famously, the Main Wire speculated earlier today that Tucker would be joining doing his show on
really?
Twitter. Yes.
Steve Robinson caught
Steve Robinson was speculating this earlier today. There were rumors floating around that he was talking to Musk.
Yes.
But Musk had said publicly on Twitter, we're not paying people to come to our platform. He can come on the platform and make money like everybody else. We're going to make it easy for content creators to make money. He's famously been saying all over Twitter that you get 100% of your own revenue for the first year that you put all your content on Twitter, and that then after that you get 90%. So, for someone like Tucker, who, his last video that he put out on Fox got 24 million video views.
Good.
Right?
It's far bigger than his Fox audience, but
so he'll make.
That's
he doesn't care. Well, true.
That was his self-eulogy.
I don't think he necessarily cares about revenue per se, right?
I don't know.
I don't think he does. I think he cares more about reach and cultural influence than he cares about making money. He'd like to obviously be able to cover his costs, pay his staff, make some money, whatever. I don't think he wants to work for free.
But
he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. But
let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm. So he was reportedly making about $20 million a year at Fox,
and he's a big cable star. And because a lot of advertisers pulled from his show a long time ago, he essentially drives subscriptions.
Right. And that's also something that Musk wants to make available on Twitter.
But how old is the average Twitter user, and how old is the average Tucker watcher?
Right. So that's obviously a big thing. And Twitter is obviously a very select audience. It's much smaller than, say, like Facebook or YouTube in terms of the number of people who are on Twitter using it. But that's why this is such a great deal for Musk, because Tucker is a huge draw. And without the availability to get Tucker anywhere else, it will entice more people to come to Twitter. So I was talking about this with some people today who are not Twitter people.
Okay.
Who are big Fox News viewers, right? And so this was kind of the discussion was, will you come to Twitter now? And I guess it depends on a host of factors. Like, will you have to make a Twitter account to watch this show? Will any part of it be subscription-based? Will you have to pay? What's the level of commitment from you necessary to do this? Obviously, just the fact that Twitter video is not available to watch on your smart TV like YouTube is already a barrier. That being said, like Daily Wire TV is not available. I don't think our smart TV has a Rumble app. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think it does.
But so everybody's dealing with this barrier. I assume Musk is thinking about this, that he wants to make Twitter video if he wants it to be a content streaming platform, that he's going to want that will compete with YouTube and other things like that he will want to make it available on television sets, especially for the audience of somebody like Tucker, because this is the problem for Tucker, right? Is he will probably have, in terms of pure number of viewers every day, a bigger audience doing his show on Twitter. What he will not...
You think so?
Bigger? Yes, I do think so. I do. I don't think he will have as mainstream an audience. And that's the problem. I think the problem is the normie boomer parents are not on Twitter, right? And this is why he drove so much of the cultural influence of the mainstream conversation. And he brought stuff from internet land into those people's living rooms, right? Because their TV was already set up to bring it in.
I look at this and I wonder, is, like, in real terms, is Crowder worth more than Tucker?
Absolutely not.
I mean, just as far as, because if you just go by social media views and the consumption on social media, Crowder has got a social media show, which now is on Rumble, right?
Right. And he's been getting hundreds of thousands of live streams, simultaneous live streams, like watching live, which is big. That's a big audience. I mean, that's a small cable news show, basically. He probably beats Newsmax.
So what Musk has to do, I see this being a big challenge, and it's very possible that Tucker takes a step down in relevance like Glenn Beck did.
So, and it's interesting because, I mean, there are people saying this. So, our buddy, Matt Gertz is already doing the victory dance about this. He said, Tucker Carlson is taking on his final form as an Alex Jones-style crank, just with better production values, thanks to the support of one of the richest men on earth. I expect Carlson to be totally unhinged and Musk to do everything possible to drive traffic to him, but this is a bleep platform on which to watch long videos, and getting his geriatric audience to switch over will be a challenge. It will be interesting to see if Fox tries to make Carlson's potential guests choose between going on his Twitter show and going on their network. Carlson found the only person with bottomless pockets more willing to publish white nationalist content than Rupert Murdoch.
There's another ad for Tucker.
I know.
That guy is... they don't seem to get it, but... I don't know. I know that Musk wants to.
So, but Matt Walsh is also
Musk wants to have a multimedia platform,
right,
on Twitter. Rather than he wants a Substack on Twitter. He wants everything. He wants Facebook on Twitter.
Right. He wants everybody making all their content there and flowing through him.
How do you keep progressive elite Twitter users from running to Jack Dorsey's new platform?
Because all the action will be happening on Twitter.
Will
They'll still want to be there to find out what Tucker's saying. That's like all they live for. They all live and breathe Tucker. Remember Brian Stelter's obsession with him? I mean, they're all obsessed with him, clearly.
Yeah, but Tucker was
the
cable TV ratings giant then.
Well, but he's going to be, and I think this is a question of cable TV is already in a weakened state from where it was when O'Reilly or Glenn Beck left Fox. Twitter is a smaller platform, but it's a very powerful and robust platform, and it's already an established place for newsy and political people, right? That's the problem. Is everybody's already done talking about Blue Sky again? You know, like it was another thing that was there for a second, and it's not like taking off and going someplace. They can all go there, but they're just talking to themselves, and the world is happening out here, and everybody else is on Twitter. Tommy and Trish in the chat both claim to be old and say that they're on Twitter. So they said they think there are more people there. I think more people.
I'm 50 and I'm on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. And some of the TIC audience
is on Twitter. Yes,
are in their 60s
for people who are into news, a lot of them are on Twitter because it's a very good breaking news place. If you like to always know what's happening, it's a great place to be. Mm-hmm. You know, and what it hasn't had is the level of content. It's always linked to outside content, right? I do see people using Twitter Spaces quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't tend to go in them because I don't like that format personally.
It's very intimate.
Right.
You feel exposed. But at the same
but
time...
I think that, you know, there are... I think that Musk is experimenting a lot right now with what works, and I think getting people like Tucker... Matt Walsh is also doing his entire show on on Twitter now as well.
He is?
Yes, because he got booted from YouTube.
You're kidding me. Matt Walsh?
Yeah. This
does
happened
his
like a couple
show on
ago.
Twitter?
Yeah. I mean, it's still available in podcast form, but like I don't think he's on YouTube now.
So his whole show is on Twitter?
He does his entire show as a long video live stream on Twitter, yes.
I didn't know that. I just listened to him. I just listened to him today.
Yeah.
So that is... So are there other big names who are just on Twitter?
At the moment, off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody who's doing a whole show on Twitter like that.
Well, I mean, but
Musk
obviously is going to drive away everybody to the left because he's rebranding Twitter as a conservative platform.
But he's not giving those people anything. This isn't Rumble doing a 7-figure contract with Trump Jr. This is Substack.
Yeah, but that's you and I are saying that. But
this isn't even. No.
But
Wait.
What do you think that?
But Musk has said he's
normie
not doing that.
Progressives think it is.
Well, right, sure, but there are also progressives on Substack, and progressives do make noise about Substack allowing bad views on its platform and not deplatforming people they don't like. They allow the anti-vaxxers on there. They allow a bunch of people on there that the left doesn't like to say things that the left doesn't like, right? On Substack.
So this is...
And Substack does get, and people do get mad at Substack about it, that they do that, but they also can go make money on Substack, and a lot of them do. This isn't even Substack offering people money for the first year or whatever. This is, this is just Elon inviting people to say, come to this platform and I'll let you have ways to make money if you build an audience here, right? And I don't know for sure what the truth is. Obviously, we'll find out, but, like Matt Taibbi was accused of Substack being his employer, right? But
Right.
Substack's not really his employer, especially not anymore once he's through the trial period of that initial upfront payment that they gave him to come onto the platform. But Musk, it doesn't seem like is even doing that. He's saying he's not anyway. Publicly,
But
he's
Tucker's
said
tone sounded like they had struck a deal.
well, yeah, and he did talk to Musk, but I
Right.
think he wanted to know, how is this going to work? How am I going to make money? How is my audience going to find me? What am I going to be able to do in terms of subscriptions or advertising or whatever it is, right? So, but we don't know the details of that yet. But Musk has said that he's not going to, explicitly out of pocket pay anybody to come. Obviously, it's really, really good for him if Tucker does this and comes to this platform and exclusively does it there. But, I think there are ways to get people paid to do that, like Substack has done, without necessarily Musk paying them directly, right? And if liberals can do it too, if Twitter becomes like a YouTube but with less censorship, right? And I think there's a lot of steps that need to happen before they can do that, right? That being said, I think in some ways they're better positioned than Rumble is to become that type of content competitor to YouTube, just because they have more users and stuff, and the right users to do that. Rumble's making a lot of their money right now off viral cat videos and stuff. And that makes money for them, and that's great. And I wish Rumble all the best, and I want them to be successful. But in a lot of ways, if Musk decides to go that route and become a video and content platform, there's more people there already automatically, where if he throws the video of Tucker right into your feed, ready to go, that's a lot less steps than a person finding out what Rumble is and going. And, I know that some of our listeners, for example, have been frustrated with us doing our live streams here because they do not make it super easy to be in the chat and whatever,
Right.
and you have to make an account. A lot of the people interested in Tucker already have Twitter accounts and already follow him and are already right there. And if his video shows up in your feed doing his monologue, it's automatic. You don't have to do another step. So that makes it easier for them. Twitter's already in that position. Now, if Tucker's doing all his content there, that's obviously great for Elon Musk and a huge step in the direction of being able to, monetize users and all this other stuff. And that gives him then the sort of base he needs to experiment more with, how do you make this a video app that you can get this onto somebody's TV? How do you make this an app? Do people have to sign up for accounts to watch Tucker? Do they not have to? All these kind of questions of how this is going to get to people, it gives him more leeway to experiment with that and kind of figure it out. If he has people like Tucker doing this. And, you bring up, everybody's going to jump to Dorsey's new platform. Is Brian Stelter going to do his show on there and do it to an audience just of other
Where does he do his show right now?
Nowhere. But I'm saying,
but I'm saying
if you're Brian
Musk
Stelter,
should bring
right?
in some progressives,
Right,
to be on the platform too.
But you don't. But here's my point: is he doesn't necessarily have to do anything to bring in progressive. I mean, he can have a chat with them the way he had a chat with Tucker. But if you're Brian Stelter, what's the incentive for you? And you're trying to decide, I'm going to start to do a live streamed show on my own because nobody will hire me because I'm Brian Stelter. Am I going to do it on Blue Sky, where I'm going to have an audience of 7 and it's going to just all be other journalists? Or am I going to do it on Twitter where there's millions and millions of people and they might just show up to laugh at me, but at least they'll be watching the show and I'll make some advertising revenue, right?
Right.
So the incentive is there if Musk builds the infrastructure right, and that's obviously a big question because execution matters a lot. But if Musk builds that infrastructure right, then that's people will join that.
The best thing that could happen to Tucker is that he continues to be the standard bearer for the new right and continues to have the best content product and writing out there, so that he continues to stay relevant. It's like in a way, he's a new arrival to this world where like Rogan has been doing things. But he'd have to do that. I have no doubt that he can write and that'll happen. And you're right. He's one of the few who got double branded because Jordan Peterson fans like him and Greenwald fans like him. And, and Tucker has, and, we used to talk about it all the time, is that like he feeds every constituency of a few smelts.
Right.
Well, now
he'll wink at everybody.
Exactly. And well, now you see it.
Well, and I'm so intrigued with the rhetoric of like if you work in media, you're always bumping up against the limits of what you're allowed to say. And
well, that's him. I mean, that's some arson.
Well, yeah, but I think it's also him saying like, if you come watch me on Twitter, I'm going to be saying what I really think, right?
Saying that everything that's on your TV right now is fake.
Right.
You know what? You know whose ship has come in?
Who?
Right now? If I were this gentleman, I would be having my agent reapproach the Fox execs and say, let's take another look at that contract.
Who? Bill O'Reilly?
Gutfeld.
Oh.
Gutfeld is on a tour for his #1 rated late night show right now.
Right.
Gutfeld is also on the 5. Both of those have advertisers. They haven't dropped the Gutfeld show.
Yeah, Gutfeld's not scary like Tucker is, really.
Right. Well,
I mean, the left hates him anyway, I'm sure.
Yes, but I mean, he's now King Dingaling at Fox.
Right. But you almost get the impression from the stuff that's leaked from Fox that they don't want people to be big in their own right.
Yes.
They want Fox to be big because it's Fox, and they want loyal Fox soldiers, and they don't want anybody getting too big for their britches on there.
Yes, that's the culture, is that the company comes first, and then, yeah, they apparently waxed, like, they're at Sky News, they waxed their big dog. No, it was at one of the publications in England. They waxed, like, the big King Dingaling columnist 15 years back or whatever, and he was asked why he got waxed, and he said, I got too famous. I was everywhere, and Murdoch doesn't play that.
Right.
Nobody's bigger than the
right. So they might not be trying to make another Tucker. They might, be okay with the safer ratings hit and know that they're going to get their carriage fees from the cable subscriptions and be safe, conservative, controlled opposition. And
I don't know if it was on the show or where we said it, but like we, for the first time, talked about
cutting our cable package. Yeah, actually cutting the cord and getting rid of it. Because like, what the heck do we watch on cable TV? Literally anything.
Chronicle, dancing with the Stars.
We literally do not use our TV for cable at all.
No.
Like, we would miss nothing right now. During the election, we might miss some stuff. We'll probably watch this CNN town hall with Trump tomorrow. Or at least part of it. We'll flip it on. But yeah, we don't watch any cable television.
Trump's going to be unhinged tomorrow. Oh my goodness, he's going to be unhinged. Because he's not going to give a millimeter when it comes to
all the things happened
January
today
6th.
To make him angry. Number one, this thing, he's obviously going to appeal all this stuff. He's supposed to pay this woman $5 million, which I literally don't even understand how this case can exist.
Well, it's a jury trial. That's how it exists.
Well, yeah, juries are stupid, I guess, is the
and
moral
Trump
of the
wasn't
story.
there to defend himself.
I mean, juries are stupid. His deposition was bad. I get all that stuff, but fundamentally, this whole case rests on, I could say, I was at Macy's in the 90s and Bill Gates raped me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is built on. Because there's no, there's no evidence that Trump was there. Like, where do I go to get my $5 million from Bill Gates just because I go out here and like say that he raped me randomly? It just makes no sense. I'm not saying it couldn't be true, because somebody asked me, they were like, how are you so 100% sure he's innocent? I'm like, I don't know if I have no clue. I don't know. He could have raped her. I don't.
Well, you know what?
But, like,
also, can we just say something about Trump?
Yeah.
How, when we played the audio from last week, whatever, he said she's not his type. What's he saying right there?
She's ugly?
Yeah. And I think that he likes to have sex with hot women. I think he's proven that.
Well, right, but then they did the thing where they showed him an old picture of her and he thought it was Marla Maples in the deposition.
Oh, really?
That's part of what they showed the jury. So then that, like, cuts against that. But I don't know. The whole thing is dumb because there's no evidence he was even, like, in this department store at that time. She doesn't know what year it happened. Like, the whole thing is so absurd and ridiculous to me. I do not understand. If I were a juror and we're sitting there, I would like, what are we supposed to be basing this on? Like, I do not understand how that even saw the light of day in a courtroom. Like, it makes zero sense to me. I must be missing something. It just, whatever it is, I don't know. Julie and Phil say they've cut cable.
Really?
Yeah, they got Sling and an antenna. They're saving lots of money.
So that's the antenna. Yeah. Doesn't my brother have that?
I guess so, yeah. But
what does Sling do? Do we know?
I want to say I think that's like streaming services, but I'm not sure. Julie and Phil can tell us. We're bad at stuff like that because we're lazy and we don't watch that much stuff. Like, so we don't care that much about accessing
Sopranos,
it.
It's over.
But yeah, I don't understand the Trump. He's obviously going to be mad. He's obviously going to appeal it. His lawyers are going to try and wear her down and make her spend a ton of money to try and get at this $5 million. It's going to go on forever. But the left now gets to say that Trump is a sexual assaulter.
Yeah. I mean,
well, they can't say he's a rapist because he got found
they can't?
not liable.
They can't, Alice?
Well, I mean, they can.
They've been saying he's a rapist this whole time.
I know, right? But the most hilarious part is that he got found not liable for the rape, but they found him liable for defaming her for saying she was making it up that she raped him.
Yeah.
So he's liable for, guilty as criminal trials is what everybody on Twitter is all of a sudden legal experts on today. He is liable for defamation for saying that she was lying about the rape that the jury agrees didn't happen. So the whole thing is so stupid. It's so stupid, but his lawyers are going to appeal. It's going to go but so he's mad about that. He's been yelling about that on Truth Social. And now he's going to go to this CNN town hall. Now his court case isn't even the big news of the day, because it's been totally overshadowed by the Tucker thing, which is the thing he hates next most.
Well, he'll get it back tomorrow.
You mean for the
on CNN?
On his CNN thing? Yeah, but that's not till tomorrow night. Like, now everybody's talking about this. All the morning shows are going to be talking about this, about Tucker. Like, they're going to be freaking out. I do have to say, if people like Matt Gertz and Media Matters are expecting Tucker to go the way of Alex Jones, where, like, he's just not as culturally relevant anymore. And Alex Jones, by the way, still has a big audience. But he's not like giving advice to presidents, right?
Right. Although he was 4 years ago, so.
So Tommy in New Hampshire recommends Fubo and internet so that you can get your sports.
We don't really watch sports, Tommy. Those days are kind of over for me. After Brady left the Pats, that was pretty much it. And I don't. I'm just over it. I mean, we should have sports on. And if my sons loved it, or my daughter, and they watched it, I would have it. But then again, that comes from me. We just don't. My life is not like my dad's life was, where we were immersed in Red Sox culture. I wish it was, believe me.
So, yeah, I think cable's in a different position. I think Twitter is very well positioned. I think that having some kind of arrangement with Tucker, whether it's for, just him getting his own revenue on the platform or what, but I think it's huge for the media landscape.
Well, I also think that if Tucker's doing this, then Elon wants to have some momentum going. So it can't just be Tucker. Right? To have the fully sanctioned Musk nod and handshake, I think you got to have more. You got to have more people doing it.
Mm-hmm. But I think you will.
And what's that going to mean then? Is he going to have now a competitive tilt towards the Daily Wire, etc.? Or no?
I mean,
he doesn't do Substack anymore. Are you not going to be able to put Daily Wire videos on there? Which would be a mistake.
What do you mean?
Like, for instance, you can't have Substack links on there anymore.
Right.
Is he going to get rid of Daily Wire links?
Or YouTube links?
Right.
I mean, he had said for a while he didn't want, like, Instagram links or other social media site links.
He doesn't like the Zuck, I don't think.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I think he might go towards, like, not auto-playing videos in the feed. Because right now, if, like, somebody plays a YouTube video, you can, like, hit play on it and it plays in there. I think Rumble...
Is that true?
I think Rumble still links out. But... I think the link still goes out with Rumble. I don't think there's the capability to like embed it like that. But
first of all, Hollywood legend is a new dad at 79.
I told you, I sent you that today.
I know, with some words of encouragement for me.
I know. What did I say?
You said, look, it's not so bad for you or something? Oh.
What, his wife is attractive? Is that what are you breathing heavily about over there?
Sent me some.
Is it food or a woman?
It's food.
Okay, just checking. It's hard to tell with you.
She said, Jacqueline said this. Jacqueline said, I stand with Pringles for a snack.
Oh, has she been listening to the food podcast?
Did we talk about that? Pringles?
I think we did.
Oh.
It was either in our real life or on the food podcast. I don't remember.
Oh.
That is, of course, the All You Can Eat podcast. Search All You Can Eat Tom Shattuck on your favorite podcast app and see if you can get that show pulled up. You can also go to the Twitter at All You Can Eat Pod. That's just the letter U, not the word U, and find links to all the different places to listen. That's a great new show that we're doing as well. If you enjoy hearing Tom Shattuck salivate over food, including
other stuff. I won't
spinach
mention
beverages,
what's coming, but I'm very excited about the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to the Burn Barrel Podcast, everybody. You can, of course, find this at burnbarrelpodcast.com with links to all the places to listen. You can also, if you feel like supporting the show and doing live streams with us.
You know what? I have to say something to you, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
I am happy that you're fairly attractive.
Thanks.
Because it wouldn't be so fun to look at somebody who wasn't attractive.
I'm happy you're attractive, too.
You do it all the time. Oh, right. But... So, you know what? I wonder if that part of the reason I hired you for this podcast is lookism. And are you okay with that?
No, it's on the basis of my intellectual prowess.
There's some of that, too.
And because I'm very funny.
Oh, and your humor. And the fact that you're always stoked when you do the show.
So stoked. I'm excited. And yes, Tommy in New Hampshire says we did talk about the Pringles on the food podcast. That is the All You Can Eat podcast. We didn't get to the Chelsea Fire Wicked hotline today. Leave your chat messages for tomorrow. I was just going to tell people to leave them for tomorrow. They're not going to be about Tucker because there wasn't time before the show.
That good audible.
So we will see you on the chat tomorrow.